There are over 2 billion people in the world, about a third of the world's global population, that are not banked.
2.5 billion people who survive, some of them on less than $1 a day, some on less than $2 a day, and they have no means of borrowing, they have no means of getting access to expertise.
There is definitely a lot of entrepreneurial spirit. There's no doubt about it. But all of them sell the same thing. They'll all sell sweets, tomatoes in the street corners. So the spirit is there. People want to do something. It's just that that's what they're exposed to.
The traditional banking model doesn't work because the cost structure is too high. The way banking transactions are done throughout the world come from another era. Things have changed. We've got cell phones, we've got internet, we've got state-of-the-art technology in nearly everybody's hands.
Currently, there are 58 million cell phones in the country, yet the total population stands at about 45 million. Well, of course, some rich people have 5 phones, but overall we can say that just about everybody in this country has a phone. So the question is, what are they using that phone for? At the moment, merely communication in the form of phone calls and text messages, but it has potential for more. It has potential for accessing internet. South Africa is currently number 5 in the world in web-enabled access to the internet. And so mobile technology in this country, in fact, should be at the cutting edge of solutions to the social problems.
Because what you have is a device in people's hands that they can enter in a secret code, and it doesn't require some banking hardware. And the other thing that you have is everybody connected to one big network. Now what we can do is we can leverage the power of that community to create value and spread it around. What our platform will do is it'll put capital in the hands of entrepreneurs, and there are so many entrepreneurs.
The Nazareth Baptist Church is traditionally poor. Most people think it's rich, but they are poor. They have roughly about 7 million people. When I got to them, I was able to demonstrate to them that I really want to do the right thing by making sure that they get real empowerment, not just a revenue share arrangement. So we then decided just to do more than cell phones. And we decided to set up a community bank for the church that was going to bank all the unbanked members of the Shembe Church.
220 million new consumers coming into the market in the next 5 years in emerging markets. That's massive. That's a massive opportunity for big corporations from the developed world, but it's also a massive opportunity for entrepreneurship within those markets.
Burial societies are really insurance companies that are community-based. The market is worth about 7 billion rands. A lot of prepaid insurance products have come into the market, offered by big business and offered by banks. And those prepaid funeral insurance products haven't really succeeded. Not because they're expensive, they're actually cheaper than burial societies, but it's because the product does not align with the needs of the people. Burial society closes that gap. They guarantee or they ensure that the underwriting rules are aligned to the needs and the culture of that community. But the biggest problem is still the collection of premiums. When Imbalenhle Burial Society started in this country, most of the payment was done through a direct debit of the consumer's bank account. But the biggest problem with that is that they only were getting about 30% success rate in collections of the premium. It's not to say people didn't have money, it's just that bank accounts in South Africa are expensive And also, if they do a debit in the account and there's no money, that attracts debit order fees, which can amount to anything between 50 and 100 rands. That's almost half, if not 3/4 of what they're supposed to pay being used up by penalties. That's why members then don't want to use bank accounts. They prefer then to use cash. When Imbalente moved from bank accounts to direct cash payments, their collection rate increased to 70%. Those members go to pay at a retail store such as Pick n Pay. They'll pay 90 rands, but the retail store will take 6 rands of that as a fee.
I really saw an opportunity to bring the freemium business model that's been so successful in the IT industry to the world of banking, to address a massive market of people who do high volume, low value transactions. It's important to understand what the essence of the freemium model is about. It's not about free, it's about getting critical mass by providing a base service that is free and then charging for the value add. Because customers don't mind paying for value add because it's value that they wouldn't have had if they hadn't been using your service. There's no better example than Google. Nobody pays for searching, yet they make $23 billion a year out of advertising. It's really caused a seismic shift in the way that people transact today.
So we think our payment platform is uniquely positioned because we will not only address the high fees that the bank are charging the consumers, but we will also address the high fees that the burial societies or the billers are paying.
We have to put in the hands of farmers who are currently out of the formal system the best technology available for them not to incur a huge amount of costs in thinking about how to plant and how to harvest or even to husband their animals. We have to put in their hands a technology that enables them to know the full potential of their work and therefore be able to sell it to the market. Agresta enables us to do so.
By creating a platform that allows people who didn't have access to banking to take small business loans, to take small agricultural loans, you're giving them the opportunity to create value. And that not only helps them, but it helps their whole economy, their whole ecosystem. If we put capital in the hands of some of these young, dynamic guys and girls, we're going to see huge potential unlocked.
Payment of services is what is stopping the uptake of services. Access to internet, access to telephony, access to mobile communication. So if we can create both services such as broadband or access to broadband and also at the same time enable convenient and easy payment of services is how we're going to address this problem of poverty and joblessness.
When we develop a solution for this country to solve the social problems of this country, it will by necessity include all the elements that exist in this country, such as high levels of sophistication of our retail and banking infrastructure, and also taking into account the difficulties that that face poor people, that confront poor people. So, if we develop a solution that is useful here, it is a solution that can be applied in other contexts.
If we put some real capital into this, and get some well-recognized business leaders, maybe some mavericks, to go, hey, I can see this. Here's a market opportunity. Here's an opportunity to change the rules. It's a game changer. It's not only about economic freedom, but it's about freedom of speech. It's about freedom of trade. It's about taking power back to the people.
The land that lies between Somerset East, cutting through Ado all the way to Port Elizabeth, is already called the breadbasket of South Africa. It is a land on which we now gain most of our Golden Valley apples, the mohair that we are now leading exporters of, and so on. Yet the potential exists elsewhere in the Eastern Cape too. And there's no reason why, in my view, that the whole of the Eastern Cape cannot be the breadbasket of Africa and maybe the world.